Jerome Powell speaks tomorrow, and you know that it usually pumps or dumps Bitcoin. I have an insider information about the next Bitcoin big move, and in this video I will reveal it to you. Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Samo from Market to Paradise, and you remember 4 days ago I have told you that we will pump from $79,000 towards $86,000. As you can see, we have done exactly that. We have pumped by around 10%, and right now we are forming extremely important pattern, ladies and gentlemen, that will determine the next price action. In the latest video that I have recorded for you 2 days ago, I have told you we will be flirting with this resistance, right? And as you can see, we have slightly touched this resistance, but I believe we are not finished with this resistance just yet. I have actually spectated with my team an important pattern that we are forming right now that will confuse a lot of traders, and we will be breaking that pattern in this video together with the probabilities of dumping towards $77,000 after we are done with this pattern. So what are the probabilities that we will really crash towards $77,000 next? Let's analyze. And we will start today with USDT dominance is very important, because if you can understand the price action like a professional, it can help you to increase the probabilities in your trading decisions. For example, in January, because we understood that we are bottoming out after this big bearish market, it helped us to determine that Bitcoin is stopping. Actually, the USDT dominance is going into a reversal from the downside. That means that the money in the circulation will be moving from the crypto market into stable coins again, which is including USDT, right? And when the USDT dominance is about to start pumping, the trend starts, and when we understand that we are about to start going down, it means the opposite, right? It means that the money are flowing from the stable coins, including USDT, into the crypto market, and can help us to understand that we are about to have a great rise to the upside. So for example, in January, it helped us to predict the top of Bitcoin. As you know, since January, I'm telling you, we are finished, ladies and gentlemen, with Paradise Family VIPs. We have sold absolutely everything. We are about to go towards $44,000, and I told you two important levels, 77 and 44, and I told you exactly how we will move down there, and I told you exactly when it's gonna happen, and USDT dominance really helped us with it because we were using it as a confirmation for our other analysis. And right now USDT dominance is actually finishing its impulse, ladies and gentlemen. If you're in our MCP for university, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Impulse is a motive mode wave which subdivides itself into 5 smaller waves. So here we have started the first and secondary wave right here. Then we started a third impulsive wave that subdivides itself into 5 even smaller waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Then we started a corrective fourth wave that finished right here at around 5%, ladies and gentlemen. Well, and right now, and we are actually in the process of forming of the fifth wave that will take us towards 6.69%, ladies and gentlemen, and that will synergize perfectly with $44,000 that we are seeing on Bitcoin since January 30. So let's zoom in inside of our medium time frame chart by zooming in inside for our time frame, ladies and gentlemen. And based on looking at the price action, we have understood with the Paradise team that we are starting to trend inside of an ending diagonal after we have finished this fourth wave, ladies and gentlemen. So let me explain to you why. After we have bottomed down right here at around 5%, we have started a first zigzag ABC towards 6% that finished right here. Then a secondary one ABC that is finishing right here at this strong support zone 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level is creating a huge demand, ladies and gentlemen, together with this structural previous resistance now acting as a support. Here you can see how well it worked as a resistance. After we have shifted to the upside, you can see that it was working perfectly as a support, and I do believe that we will bottom the second wave right here, or maybe we can have a little wick out lower, maximum towards this next support right here, and after that we will create a new upward zigzag formation towards around 6th 0.30%, ladies and gentlemen. So what is this formation? What is this formation? Well, this is a classic ending diagonal, right? If you are in our MCP Free University, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We have been using the ending diagonal also to predict all the moves before we started to crash, right? So you understand that for a professional trading, this pattern is very useful because we have been able to catch all the movements of all the smaller waves up or down. We didn't care, and most of the waves I've been updating with you here for free in these videos. So if you had your own trading strategy and trading tactics, thanks to these insights, you have been able to make a great profit the same way we have been making them inside of Paradise Family VIP, where with the Paradise team we share with our inner circle members our personal trade ideas with the exact entry and exit targets. So once we understood that this is the truncated fifth and we are finished, we have sold everything, we have sold all of our longs, and we have started to get into aggressive bearish strategies and tactics. And the same pattern right now is being formed on USDT dominance, ladies and gentlemen. After we are done with this third wave, we are about to move down towards retesting this Fibonacci retracement level that worked previously as a resistance. After we are about to reclaim it, it will turn itself into a support. So I believe the fourth wave will finish right here. Well, and after that we will have a final corrective mode wave towards 6.69%, ladies and gentlemen, and that will perfectly synergize with that $44,000. And speaking about $44,000, let's start analyzing Bitcoin on ultra ham time frame, ladies and gentlemen, and we can see another week, another close below this moving average trend line, which is bearish, right, and increases the probabilities that we will need to start moving a little bit down before going to retest this $90,000 to $93,000 before moving towards $44,000, because you understand that since January 30 we expect this to be moving in a deep correction mode, henceforth in a zigzag or double zigzag formation, ladies and gentlemen, and we will dump by around 55% from the approximate top, and we will be retesting this 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level from the previous most impulsive, most aggressive section of the overall impulse that been subdivided into 5 waves, right? And that is the third wave. And the third wave, 618 Fibonacci retracement level, really finishes at around $44,000. And from the previous videos, you also know that I do believe that the A wave already finished right here, not at that $77,000 that I have been expecting, but a little bit lower at around $74,000, which was absolutely alright for us. And now we are starting the B corrective wave of this ultra high degree wave structure. And if you understand the zigzag patterns, you also know that itself the larger B wave subdivides into 3 smaller waves if it's going to be a zigzag, which I believe it will. It can be any other corrective pattern, but because we are analyzing the price action on a lower time frame, we understand that everything suggests right now that it will be a simple zigzag, and I do believe that we are already finishing this smaller A wave and we are about to have the B wave that will take us towards $77,000. Let me zoom in inside of this price action so you can better understand what I'm talking about. So when I was speaking about the end of the A wave, you know that I have been talking about this level that we have determined is a truncated fifth of our impulse, which basically represents the higher degree A wave, this one, right? And after that we have started to form a new impulse, and we will be talking about this impulse by zooming into a medium time frame chart and lower time frame chart. But before that, let's take a look what's really happening right now with the price action. So the B wave, I believe, will take us towards $90,000 to $93,000 to retest this key high time frame resistance zone, and after that we will start dumping towards $44,000. And the B wave should have a price formation of a zigzag, so we are finishing the first wave around these levels, then we will have a correction towards $77,000, and then the final C wave of this higher degree B wave will take us towards this key high time frame resistance zone. You remember from the previous videos, I wanted to see a wick out similar to this one that we had before we started to move down and crashed by around 10%, right? And we are starting to have something like that, but I would really like to see a little bit more powerful wick out to liquidate the crypto noobs that are still in their over leveraged short positions, ladies and gentlemen. And as you can see, until around $88,000 there is still $1.8 billion in possible liquidations, right? And if I would be a market maker, I would really go for it before moving the price down, because otherwise it will not be that smooth, right? If we will start crashing from the current price action, market price to the downside, we will have loads of crypto noobs on board, right? And once they start to see some green numbers, they will immediately start taking profit. What's gonna happen because of that is that once the short contract is closed, it will automatically open a long contract, and basically it will be very hard to push the markets down for the market makers. Henceforth, they are right now doing the best they can to really liquidate all the late and over leveraged short positions from the market before they start crashing the price down, in order for them to be able on this downside move to make as much profit as possible. And as you know, in Paradise VIP, we are not doing anything more than just following whales, so we want to be on the same wave with the whales, right? So we are watching them closely, we are understanding the context of the market, and thanks to that we can be long-term profitable as a professional traders that just follow the big players and the market makers. From the high time frame perspective, what we see on this price chart to confirm a bearishness is not only that we are below the moderate resistance, $85,000, is not the Elliott wave structure, but is also the momentum we are seeing right now. And on the MACD histogram we can see a clear divergence, bearish divergence. This is a hidden bearish divergence because as you can see the momentum is rising, but the price action is lacking some momentum. Because the momentum created a higher high, the price action is making lower high. This is just a classic hidden bearish divergence that you know from our website mycryptoparadise.com if you are in our MCP for university. And what does it tell us is that the momentum is there, right? So somebody is creating a bullish pressure, somebody is buying, so providing buying liquidity to the market, but the price action fails to follow, right? So somebody is distributing on this buying pressure, somebody is eating this liquidity and distributing their coins, preparing for a crash. And based on the things I'm about to tell you, it is clear that the one who is creating the bullish pressure is retail, and who is distributing the coins is actually the minority, the few big players, right? So hidden bearish divergence on a MACD indicator. Something similar happened at this high. As you can see, the momentum was growing, right? And I've been informing you about that in 23 March. You remember from the previous videos, I've been telling you we are about to crash, ladies and gentlemen, and it was the same thing, right? The momentum was growing, but the price action lacked some creation of higher highs. Together, the volume was decreasing, so it was clear divergences on multiple spectrums, ladies and gentlemen. Well, and also because of that, it ended up with 15% downside move. Something similar we have right now. The price action is lacking a continuation, unlike the momentum, right? And the volume is in a decreasing manner, so no big players are being on board right now with the majority of the bulls that are trying to push the market. Together with that, we can see the RSI is actually at the position from where it topped for many times, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. It tested this 50 points mark in March, and after that we have seen a crash, right? Also right here we can see it tested the 50 points mark, and the price action afterwards seen a crash. Here as well, right here, it was in February. Also we have topped right here with the RSI at these 50 points, ladies and gentlemen, and after that the price action seen a crash. And right now something similar is happening. We are at the same level, ladies and gentlemen, and it's not looking good for Bitcoin. Together with that, we can see stochastic RSI, the bearish cross in overbought zone, as we can see right here, is also a dangerous sign because previously it also created a bearish signal. After that the price dropped. All right, so the high time frame is not really bullish, it's more bearish. But let's understand the price action a little bit deeper by analyzing this impulse on a lower time frame. So let's take a look at medium time frame, ladies and gentlemen. The medium time frame for us is 4-hour period. That means that each candle represents a 4-hour trading activity. And as you can see on medium time frame, we are also below very important resistance zones. We are at the important Fibonacci retracement levels from the previous price actions. We are below the structural resistance that previously worked heavily as a supply zone, and also we are below this ascending trend line, ladies and gentlemen. So loads of confluences. Also VR trading activity is suggesting that this is going to be a huge supply zone. And with all of this, if we take a look at that sentiment, remember we are below very important resistances, ladies and gentlemen, and the sentiment is extremely bullish. Take a look at our fear and Bitcoin great index, we are at 0.60. Again, multiple times previously we have topped from here on Bitcoin in April from $84,000. We have touched this 60 points, and after that we have crushed from 86,000 towards around 78,000. all right, from here we again crashed in March. We also crashed in early March from here. So what does it suggest? It suggests that the majority are bullish at resistance, and that's always very bad sign, and it's actually help us to understand who is creating the bullish buying pressure, right? We have been talking about it. The momentum is rising, but the price action fails to follow. So who is creating the buying pressure? Well, probably retail. We can see majority are in a great mode, majority are in bullish mode, and we can confirm that on our social index as well. You know that I've been explaining to you the cycles in the previous videos, right? And right now we have been touching an extreme levels of 80 points, ladies and gentlemen, and we have not yet went into the red numbers. So again, I do believe that this is another sign that we need to go lower before higher, and it's just synergized perfectly with the bias that we are about to crash towards $77,000, ladies and gentlemen. So the social index is bullish. On 4-hour time frame, it suggests that majority right here expect the prices to be rising, right? Usually the opposite happens, and really show us the major players are distributing on the liquidity that the retail is creating, right? On the 1-hour time frame, we are staying at that 80 points, ladies and gentlemen. Previously, when we have been for some time, we have crashed from $86,000 towards around $81,000, ladies and gentlemen. And if you are looking at these charts that we have on mycryptoparadise.com for you, you can check it out with me, and you can see that the cycles are working perfectly with the social index. And right now we are at the maximum points of 80 for a very long time, ladies and gentlemen. So I believe we will need to start completing the cycle very soon. Let's go back to the price action. As you can see, the volume divergence here is obvious as well on a 4-hour time frame. As the price is moving to the upside, basically we are making higher highs, the volume is diverging, and the volume is declining and making lower highs, and this is bearish as well. And from the Elliott wave count, we can see that we are finishing this impulse. And let's right now zoom in inside of our low time frame chart, ladies and gentlemen, and really break down this impulse down. Before that, let's check out the Bitcoin CME futures gap that been closed just recently. As you can see right here, it was closed. Above us there are no other CME futures gaps. We have just closed the only one. Okay, so that's also important to understand, because there is no other magnet above us that would just push the price to the upside. And if we analyze the impulse that we have been creating right here, we can clearly see that we are in the final 5th wave, ladies and gentlemen. Let me show you the subwaves of this impulse. Let me remove this right here. So basically we have created a 1st wave, 2nd wave, 3rd wave, 4th wave, 5th wave, right? That finished right here by making 5 subwaves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. However, this 5th one is not finished yet. This 5th one is actually an extended 5th, and we are making a formation of ending diagonal itself. So here was the time where we have finished the 4th wave in a corrective flat pattern, and after that we have started a 1st wave of an ending diagonal, 2nd wave. Right now we have finished the 3rd wave, and we are about to finish the 4th wave. If we take a look where it probably should finish, we can actually analyze this previous price action. Let's take a Fibonacci retracement tool to the swing low, up to the swing high. As you can see, it perfectly touched that 0.61 Fibonacci retracement level. So if we take a look closer at the price action, you might see that this is probably the first A wave of a zigzag. After that we will have a retest, and probably we will go as down as $84,000 to retest this Fibonacci retracement level. If we take a channeling approach as well, so we create a trend line right here, we understand that this was the 1st wave, this was the 3rd wave, so we can place the trend line around these levels, then just copy the slope of the channel and put it to the 2nd wave, okay? And we can see it perfectly aligns with the idea that we should retest this $0.786,000, ladies and gentlemen, 86 Fibonacci retracement level, ladies and gentlemen. Well, and after that we will have the 5th wave that can be truncated, okay, because it's an ending diagonal, but it doesn't need to be, okay? But if it's not going to be a truncated, we can go right here towards around $87,000. We can get rid of the over-leveraged crypto noobs and then have a smooth ride to the downside, ladies and gentlemen. I will keep you updated in the next videos. You know, I'm recording every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday, and until then I wish you a great rest of the day, and I will see you next time. Cheers.